Hey guys, Reno here. Welcome back to BeamNG Drive. For a little bit more banger racing here today, and up front we have a car with as many gears in reverse as it does forwards, the Miramar Backrunner, which I did a test run before setting all this up. This thing can do 100 backwards, that's like 5 or 6 gears, not the AI will ever use them. In second place we have the first of the two new cars, the Roth Alpha V6 sedan, which in many ways shares a lot of characteristics with the car that needs to win, the Proxima V6. They're both V6s, they're both boring bog standard sedans, but the Alpha's rear wheel drive whereas the Proxima is front wheel drive. In fourth place the T-Top Pursue Sport, and at the back the new fastest car for this round, the 200BX Rocket Bunny V2 with a 4 litre V8 because the 2 litre i4 this thing spawns with is depressingly slow. Now then, to set everything off now, and the same rules ever will apply. Fastest car at the back, slows 2 laps here on the road Atlanta circuit. Any cars that don't finish or are lapped will be out. If the car that needs to win doesn't, it will be out. If all the cars finish and the car that needs to win doesn't win, then the car in last place gets a lifeline to get through into the next round. All the cars spawn with a 0.3 risk factor. I hold it down to get as close to 6.9 as I can. Sometimes it's a bit under like this here on 0.66. Sometimes like here on the Alpha it's a bit over 1.7. And the first contact going to be made. And it's actually just a little nudge for me. I wasn't really expecting a massive amount of contact there from the two slowest cars. And they're still the only two to make contact so far. Now here comes the Proxima to get involved now, which it does. It gives a little bit of a shove there. I tested it, so all the cars should meet it at the first braking zone, well at least when the Pursue and the 200BS catch up. But of course these cars being AI never really do what you want 2 consecutive runs, so I see the Proxima hasn't really caught up. Which on the test run it hadn't, but that's just the way it goes. Which means that the Miramar is going to have a lot of difficulty getting stopped in the first break. I mean, it has difficulty getting stopped in the first place anyway. And all this shoving here is allowing the 20BX to close in really quickly, a lot quicker than what it did on the test run as well. I did move it a little bit forward after that because it was a little bit too far behind, but I think I may have got it just right now into the braking zone. But everything's actually looks like it's going to survive into turn 1. Not necessarily going to get around the corner, but it's all going to make it there at least. That's the back runner trying to slow it down now because you've got 3 cars behind it pushing it now into the braking zone, which this thing can't really get itself stopped in the first place anyway. But the Alpha isn't exactly stable under braking either. And now the Miramar is sent straight on now, that's going to go straight down into last place. So now it's the Alpha that leads the way, ahead of the car that needs to win the Proxima. Which now, well, this car thankfully isn't aero effective having the boot up. The Pursue's reverse lights are stuck on for some reason, and now then the 200BX now got right onto the back of this queue. As the Miramar is getting itself going again, is it going to go the correct way? Go on Miramar, turn the right way, there we go. So then back up to the fight up front, still the Alpha, proving why it got its name, leading the way. The Proxima, like I said, those cars are very, very similar, very evenly matched as well. Although the Proxima is definitely a lot more stable than what the Alpha is. And then the lowest race factor for this round goes to the Pursue, which is now being shoved along by the 200BX, which is going to make heavy contact again with the back of the Proxima. Because it's going to ricochet everything, something flew off, but only like a little piece of debris. I don't think it was anything too relevant. Now then, into the next braking zone, can the Alpha now hold it into the braking zone? Because it goes from the one that was pushing to the one being pushed. Because when you're pushing a guy, you can use that as a brake as well to get yourself stopped. It's heavy on the brakes, but has it done enough to get yourself stopped? And it's getting a little bit sideways. And now then, as the Proxima is getting sideways as well, going to slow things down a little bit. Actually, going to speed it up because it wasn't 100 times slower still. Can the Proxima hold it? Well, it needs to, because if these other cars get past, then they will just pull away. And now then the Proxima makes it round, the Pursue hits round into the Alpha, and the Alpha in turn hits into the back of the 200BX. But somehow the Proxima, with an expert dodge, manages to avoid all of that. Now, does that give the Miramar even a chance to come back into things? Not really, because the Alpha's got going again pretty quickly. But now it's the car that needs to win that is now leading the way, as the BX continues to push the Pursue up the hill. And now it's the Pursuit that's now the meat in the sandwich as the bumper's been pushed back into the actual frame of the car. And now coming through here, none of these cars really have any stability issues. So they're not going to be spinning out over that curb like the Miramar does most of the time. And that's allowing the Pursuit to pull away a little bit. I mean, it really is the push. It's just keeping the Pursuit with it since it's spawned, since it's got such a low risk factor. As the Miramar is having issues once again. And the Alpha is just doing its own thing. It's going to lose. It's just going to be losing. Look, unless these things spin out, it's still going to be just going to be losing time now because it's got 3 faster cars now in front of it. But it doesn't need to win, so if it doesn't matter. This is still quite a showing again from the Pacima, expertly avoided the Alpha, and is now having to withstand pressure from 2 significantly faster cars. I think under player control, the 200BX can do something like 200 miles an hour. Of course, being a powerful car, it's got to hope it keeps its radiator intact because they do overheat quicker the more powerful the cars are. So I still don't know how it's doing it. It's just keeping this expert control. Being front wheel drive as well, the rear of the car isn't exactly stable either. So if the rear starts to go around, then the rest of the car goes around with it. Everything's snaking its way through. That's it's going okay. The Miramar's found the wall. Don't really know how far behind it's got. Don't really know how it's got that far behind already. I mean, it just keeps spinning it all the time. It wasn't this far behind. Into the next braking zone, into the second to last corner. Can the Pacima get itself stopped? He's getting a little bit sliding on the rear. He's getting a double push there from 2 cars in front of it. But the Pacima, though, it's good under the brake, so it's got that going for it at least. It's also got the Pursuit having a slower risk factor, which I think is definitely hampering its performance. So it doesn't make a whole lot of difference whether it's got a few points less, but I think a 0.7 Pacima to a 0.63 Pursuit definitely makes all the difference. As now then into the final corner, the Pursuit is definitely catching a little bit. It's got the high top speed and I think better acceleration out of the low when you get out of the lower gears. And coming up to the line now to start the second lap of the race, and it's the Pacima that leads the way still. Right ahead of the Pursuit, which is getting a massive push again from the BX. And now this is where the top speed is going to start coming into play. The Pacima there gets a little bit of a wiggle on as the Alpha's managed to spin itself around. And then actually I think a bit of smoke. Is that brake smoke or something? Actually, I don't think it's. It might be. Is that the BX overheating or something? Was it coming? Is it coming from the BX? It is. The BX is taking out its radiator. I mean, with the amount of shoving it's given to the cars in front, that's not really all that surprising. Now the Alpha now makes it round the final corner. So back of the final front. So now then, the BX is now on a time limit to actually get through this round before it overheats. With being the fastest car with a 4-litre V8. It's going to do that pretty quickly, I'd imagine. Again, it also depends how bad the radiator leak is as well. If it's a little one, it should be alright. It could have already lost all of its fluid, so you never really know until it gets to the end. This is going to be really. There's only 2 places left where the Pacima can get shoved round. We've got this one and the infamous right-hander. If you can hold it through there, it should be okay. And into the braking zone again, it's going to get a shove. And is it enough of a shove to get it sent around? It's going to miss it. Basically, it makes a little bit of a shove, but then it runs out a little bit wide, gets a little bit of a tank slapper on though, but just has enough of a gap to gather everything back up. As the front bumper of the BX is now basically fully detached and it's going to fall itself back under though, so I can't remove it because it's not actually causing a problem. Oh, but the amount of smoke coming out of the back of this car is a problem. That is not making it around the end of the lap, levels of smoke coming out of the back of this thing. Which works out then for the Pacima as well. If you keep it at the speed it's going at and the cars can't make it around, then yeah, they're going to be out. And the Pacima's now pulling away because the Pursuit's having its own issue to do. I think the Pursuit might even be slamming on the brakes to try and get the BX out of the race. Because it's a much faster car and it knows you can keep it behind, so well, then again you get the unknown of whatever ends up being behind next time. Now it's going to pull away a little bit now. Going to get some good speed going. Going to go for a hit on the Pacima. So now it's decided that now is the time to try and go for the lead of the race. As they're both pulling away now, they're both dropping the BX. I think might just be trying to go into some sort of conservation mode to try and get itself to the end of the race. Into the brakes, I don't know. The Pacima loses a bit of time, and the Pursuit with a push gets the momentum to carry it through. But I think it just makes it a little bit contra there with the back. Although the front bumper now really hanging low there. Now how's the other cars doing? The Alpha. That's doing alright. And we saw the Pacima just going about its business in last place. And then up the hill now. For the second and final time. I'm going to be... Oh, that is some bad smoke now coming out of the back of the BX. That is the near the end of life smoke coming out of the back of this thing. So it's going to need to make moves. It's going to need to make moves quickly if it's to have any chance of just getting to the finish line. Although, if it runs out of fuel or conks out, and if another car ends up pushing it over the line, that still counts. He just has to cross the line. But the Alpha, though, is some significant way behind for that to happen. But when cars conk out, they do tend to try and keep themselves on the racing line, so still every chance I think that thing's still making it over the line. With the amount of smoking it's doing, I think it's very unlikely it's going to make it under its own power. As the Pacino once again just continues just to go about its business, going very slowly about its business because it can do whatever it wants. It's in the lead, as long as it's not blocking, as long as it's not going the wrong way. Because blocking, this kind of blocking is all right. Just like park sideways across the track. Well, if it conks out, then yeah. So as long as they're not going the wrong way, the cars can do anything they want really to keep themselves in line to get to the end. And now, as the BX now falls away once again, it's Pacino still only with the final straight to go. Got one break is left for the Pacino to try and shove it out of the way to take the win. That's even if it wants to take the win. It's fine pushing the Pacino around to get itself through into this round. That is another way to get through. And I think it's conked out. Yeah, so the like I said, faster cars conk out quicker. But the thing is keeping itself on the racing line, and if you're still going, the AI will still control it, so if it gets a push, the AI will still try and do its best to keep itself going. Oh my god. I didn't look at these cars. I didn't look. Well, that's that idea gone. But, you know, because the Alpha going the wrong way, I'm disqualifying that and keeping the Pacino in. And because I'm giving this thing a lifeline as well for the next round. Because you think one of the cars would end up pushing it round. So 2 cars are going to cross the line, but 4 of them are going to make it through into the next round. And it's still, once again, it's still going to be the Pacino. As though it's still got to cross the line first before anything's confirmed. And then coming up now to the finish line. And it's going to be the Pacino to take the win once again. Put that now on stopping and get on board with the Pursuit. We're going to cross the line with a bit of a gap behind it in second place. But that's what it did all it needed to do with its reverse lights on the entire time. And it's going to have end race contact. It's getting close. You're going to give it just a little bit of a nudge. Yeah, so both these cars are going to be through. This thing I'm giving another chance to as well. And the Miramar, although the front of it is now where the dashboard is going to be through, with the Alpha being the car that gets replaced. So if you enjoyed this episode of Banger Racing, remember to leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any future videos. You can be following on Twitter and Instagram, that'll be much appreciated. There'll be linked in the description down below as well. Thanks for watching. I don't know where these cars are going, but I'll see you all next time.